Hi friends! So today we're going to be looking at the difference between finding a key detail in an informational text or an interesting detail in an informational text. So key details are the most important facts that you're going to read, and they are facts. They teach you kind of the big parts of your topic. They're just kind of like the most important things that you read about when learning about something new. And for us, it's going to be about jellyfish. Interesting details are just going to be other pieces of information that the author includes to kind of just keep you interested, to kind of keep you entertained a little bit, and just kind of giving you fun, interesting facts about that topic. So as we read through this, if I see a super important key detail, I'm going to highlight it. And if I see an interesting detail that is just kind of a fun fact, I'm going to cross it out just so I can see the difference and so you can see the difference. Okay, so our topic is called jellyfish. So let's go ahead and start reading. Jellyfish are sea creatures. And I'm going to do this sentence by sentence. So jellyfish are sea creatures. I would say that's an interesting detail because we know that jellyfish are sea creatures. We know that jellyfish live in the ocean. They don't live on land. So I'm just going to cross that out. That's not super important for me to learn when learning about jellyfish. I know they're sea creatures. They have a body that is a lot like jelly. That, can kind of be like someone's opinion, talking about how a jellyfish feels and not super big, not super important when we're learning about jellyfish. So I'm just going to say that that's kind of just an interesting detail. It's kind of interesting to know that their body's a little bit like jelly. Jellyfish are not actually fish. That, I would say, is an important key detail. That is telling me that even though it says jellyfish in its name, I never knew that a jellyfish was actually not a fish at all. And if I was teaching this to somebody else, that would be really important for them to know. Because you would think jellyfish live in the ocean, it has fish in its name, but that's pretty interesting that it's not actually a type of fish. They are animals that have long tentacles but do not have a brain. One thing that kind of gives it away to me that this is a key detail is this text feature right here. We see in bolded words, in bolded print, the word tentacles. Remember, bolded print is a text feature that when an author makes something bold or highlights something, he's trying to draw your attention to let you know that that is an important word and that you need to know that word. So then I think that that's a pretty important detail. That's a pretty key detail when learning about jellyfish. And I think that's pretty key because it tells you about two major body parts on them. They're animals that have long tentacles because it describes one of the biggest body parts of it are their long tentacles, but they do not have a brain, another big body part of a jellyfish. So far, we have all of our interesting facts up here and our key details down there. Now let's go to our second paragraph. There are many different kinds of jellyfish. I think that's pretty important because that tells me that there's not just one kind of jellyfish, there's all different kinds of jellyfish. And if I was teaching this to somebody else, I think it's important for them to know that too. So that's a key detail. Some kinds of jellyfish sting and some do not. Not super important, that just is like a little fun, interesting fact about some of the different kinds of jellyfish. So I'm just going to say that that's an interesting detail, and I'm just going to cross that off. It's not super major when I'm learning about jellyfish. That's just kind of a fun fact I can know. Jellyfish can be bigger than a person or as small as a pinhead. That's pretty interesting, kind of cool. It's cool to know that, they can be super big or super small. Not a major key detail when I'm learning about jellyfish. That was just something interesting that I learned. And they kind of, put it in a fun sentence that they could be bigger than a person when they compared it or as small as a pinhead. So that's just kind of a fun, interesting fact. Many jellyfish are transparent. Ooh, I see another bolded word, another text feature. And when we see bolded print, the author is trying to draw your attention to that word to let you know that that's important. So I think that is a key detail. So many jellyfish are transparent. And if I keep reading, it says they can be very hard to see. I'm going to add that in because that is the definition of what transparent means. So if I'm teaching somebody the word transparent, they need to know what that means. So that's a key detail to know, that when jellyfish are transparent, you can hardly see them. However, there are also some that are brightly colored. Once again, just a fun little additional fact, not major when learning about jellyfish. Okay, so far we've had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 key details, and the rest have all just been kind of cool, interesting, extra facts about jellyfish. Now let's go to our last one. Jellyfish are plankton. Ooh, 2 things I want to talk about. One is our bolded word right here. Remember, when an author uses the text feature bolded print, he's trying to draw your attention to let you know that that's important. So this obviously is an important detail. And another reason why I want to talk about it too is up here we read that jellyfish are not actually fish, and that kind of answered our question. Jellyfish are plankton. That is a huge key detail. It tells you exactly what a jellyfish is. That's super important for someone to know. And then if we need to see the definition, keep reading. This means they drift in the water. Super important. Key detail. They are not good swimmers. We already see right here that they drift in the water, so that probably is just an extra detail that they're telling us. They're not good swimmers. That's actually pretty interesting because, if you live in the water, you wonder if a creature is a good swimmer or not. And that's just kind of a fun little fact to know. They're not actually good swimmers. A bloom is a large group of jellyfish. Ooh, another bolded word. That means that's an important word for us to know. So I'm going to highlight. A bloom is a large group of jellyfish. I would say that is a key detail because a lot of times when you're learning about animals, it's important to know what, if you see like a large group of that animal, it's important to know what that's called. Like when you see a large group of fish, it's a school of fish. Or when you see like a large group of lions, it's a pride of lions. So it's interesting to know, it's not interesting. It's important to know what a group of jellyfish is called. And look, we just learned a new word too. A bloom is a large group of jellyfish. Super important for us to know. Now we know what a group of jellyfish are called. And the last one says some blooms can have millions of jellyfish. Well, that's just extra because we know that a bloom is a large group. So if they're telling us millions, we know there's probably going to be a lot of them. So that's just kind of a fun little extra fact. So right here, I just showed you the difference between what's kind of just extra interesting things that maybe you find cool or interesting. Those are just interesting details. But everything we highlighted are super important key details that kind of tell you about all jellyfish in general. And we even kind of use clues of all of our bolded print. Anytime you see bolded print, that's probably going to be a key detail too. So for your activity today, you're going to try this on your own.